Welcome to In the Kitchen with the Dietitian. I'm your host, Amanda Thorvad, registered dietitian nutritionist and certified diabetes clinical education specialist, coming to you today to continue our celebration of Hispanic Heritage Month. And I'm so excited to prepare enchiladas done light with you today. Actually, there's a story behind this. My mother-in-law is an excellent cook, and she taught me how to make these enchiladas, and I just lightened up the recipe a little bit. I was super intimidated by enchiladas, but I want to encourage you that if you feel intimidated by the process, don't worry. I have a super simple method that I'm going to show you, and the best thing about these enchiladas is they are so delicious, and they are also heart healthy, can be diabetes friendly, and they're gluten-free. So let's get started. First of all, you need to gather your ingredients. So get the leanest ground beef that you can find. You'll notice that whenever it's lean, you'll see more red than white. So that's a great visual indicator, but always get the highest percentage lean that you possibly can. Why is this? Well, if you look at the nutrition facts, for 4 ounces of the 80-20 ground beef, there's 280 calories in that, and 9 grams of saturated fat, which are the artery clogging kind. So that saturated fat raises your LDL, or the bad cholesterol. Now compare that to 96% lean ground beef, and there's only 130 calories in that, and 1.5 grams of saturated fat in 4 ounces. So you're talking half the calories, about 10% of the saturated fat. So this not only helps support a healthy heart, but it also helps support a healthy waistline. So super, super important when you're looking at the ground beef. I have some heart-healthy canola oil here that we'll use to brown that ground beef, and it's just a tablespoon. Now the portions that I'm talking about here, the pound of ground beef, the tablespoon of canola oil, this is good for preparing enchiladas for a family of 4, and you might have some leftovers. So you can definitely multiply the recipe if you're cooking for a larger party. I have some ground cumin or comino here, some garlic powder to add flavor to the ground beef. It's always best to add flavor whenever possible with spices, and limit salt as much as you can, again to support a healthy heart and keep your blood pressure in check. But I do have some salt here because of course we all know it enhances the flavor and helps us to enjoy our food. You're going to need some shredded Mexican cheese. This one is a blend of asadero, cheddar, and Monterey Jack. And anytime you're looking at the cheese, make sure it's made with 2% milk, so it's reduced fat. Again, you're limiting that saturated fat that clogs up the arteries and raises your bad cholesterol. And of course, you'll also need some corn tortillas and enchilada sauce. Find your favorite one. And if you do eat gluten-free, one thing I will tell you is always look at the sauces, because this is where hidden gluten often can lurk. So read the ingredients list, and that will tell you. And sometimes you can find in small print that it does say gluten-free. So just look thoroughly through the label and you'll be able to find out. So our first step now is to brown up the ground beef. So I'm going to turn my burner on. And I'm just going to start it on medium heat. And we'll put the canola oil in there. And then we'll go ahead and drop in the ground beef. And I like to add the spices right at the beginning. So I'm going to do about half a tablespoon of garlic powder. I love the taste of garlic. And if you're short on time, the garlic powder is great because you don't have to sit there and mince fresh garlic. You just have it ready. And then I'm going to do about a teaspoon of the ground comino. And that adds lots of great flavor. And then we'll do about half a teaspoon of the salt. Now remember, cheese has a lot of salt in it, so you don't need to add too much salt into the ground beef. And this again helps it to be a much more heart-healthy dish. So now I'm going to go ahead and break up the ground beef. And when you break it up, that of course allows it to cook evenly and more quickly. Now, if you have a flat spatula, this is a great way to break up these chunks of the beef and help it to cook a lot quicker. So now the ground beef is nice and browned, smells delicious. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn off the heat, and we are one step closer to assembling our enchiladas. And this is a great time to get the kids in the kitchen to help you heat up the corn tortillas. So we're gonna go ahead and stick ours in the microwave. And it only takes about 30 seconds for 4 tortillas. And once they're ready, they're nice and hot. So we're gonna go ahead and put one of the corn tortillas in the pan. And I'll grab a spoon here and put in some of our lean ground beef. And then top it with some shredded cheese, the reduced fat cheese. And then roll it up. And that's it, it's that simple. So we're just going to repeat the process. And again, this is a great opportunity to pull the kids into the kitchen. You can have an assembly line. One of them can heat up the tortillas, another one can scoop the ground beef in there, and another one can top it with cheese, and another can roll the enchiladas. And this way it's a family affair, and you're also leaving this legacy of cooking knowledge with your children. So once you and the kids finish putting the enchiladas together, you'll top them with the sauce. So this is the enchilada sauce that I chose. It has tomato paste and some spices, and it has so much great flavor, and you're just gonna pour it generously over the top. And I like to add about a 1/4 cup of water to a 1/2 cup, just depending, to prevent the enchilada sauce from caking over or drying out. And top this generously with cheese. And you can feel good about this because it's the reduced fat cheese. So we're gonna put this in the oven at 350 degrees for about 20 minutes. And that will help ensure that the sauce is nice and warm and the cheese is melted. All right, it's been 20 minutes, so our enchiladas should be ready. Let's take them out of the oven. Make sure you have your pot holders. And ooh, don't they look delicious? That cheese just melted so beautifully. And let's bring them up here. And now I want to have a word with you about how to make this healthy if you have diabetes, or if you're on a weight loss journey, or just want to maintain a healthy weight. The key is you have to have portion control. And I know you've probably heard this a million times, but I cannot emphasize how important this is. You just have to have some discipline. So don't deprive yourself. Enjoy the foods that you like. Lighten them up, in this case, whenever possible. And exercise portion control. So we're gonna take 2 enchiladas from here. You have protein from the ground beef and the cheese, and you have carbs from the tortillas. So what else are we missing? Vegetables. So I encourage you to step out of that traditional box. I know enchiladas are traditionally served with rice and beans, and actually you can pick one of them. Pick the rice or the beans. My recommendation would be go with the beans. Why is that? Because 1 cup of beans, whatever kind of beans you want, pinto beans would be the most traditional, contains 15 grams of fiber. Remember, we talked about how the fiber fills you up. So you want to fill yourself up as much as possible. And I know sometimes for diabetes, if your sugars have been running high, you have that unquenchable thirst and appetite. So look for those foods high in fiber. That will help you tremendously. And also if you're on a weight loss journey, same thing, fill up on fiber. So if you had to choose between the rice and beans, choose the beans. Now, aside from that, so do like a quarter of the plate with beans. The remainder of the plate, a good third of the plate at least, should be your vegetables, if not half the plate. So you can do a little cabbage salad with some fresh lime. You can do some nopalitos or cactus. You can have sliced cucumber. I love sliced cucumber with chipotle powder and a little bit of salt. So any of those would be great. Use your imagination, step outside the box like I said, and that will help you have a more balanced meal. Now, before I let you go, I gotta taste these. And I really hope that you make these at home. So packed with flavor, so incredibly delicious. I hope you'll join me cooking throughout Hispanic Heritage Month. You definitely need to join me for my next episode. We're gonna have some delicious tacos that we're preparing, so tune in. Make sure you subscribe so that you get the notifications for my next video, and give me a thumbs up if you like this video. And most of all, I would love if you leave a comment because I want to hear from you. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.